All right, guys, welcome to Maginnis class demonstrations, and let's talk about calligraphy. So today I'm going to do a basic calligraphy alphabet. Let's take a look here. I drew this out some years ago. It shows each letter and how you make one stroke and then lift it up and make a second stroke for in the instance of an A. Most letters are two strokes except for the K, the M, and the W, and the S, and the Z. So let's take a look at our work area here. So in order to write calligraphy letters, you need any kind of implement with a flat edge. In other words, a ballpoint pen or sharpened pencil will not work, but anything that has a flat edge. Now, I have three things with me today. I have a marker with a conical tip, but the conical tip does have a flat edge. A marker also here has a chisel tip. That will work too. And of course, a calligraphy marker specifically made to draw calligraphy letters has a flat tip. So having a flat tip is one trick that you need to write calligraphy letters. The other is to always hold that surface, that flat surface you're marking with, at a 45-degree angle. You'll know you're doing it correctly when you draw something like an O, and you'll have these thin parts when the pen is moving in that 45-degree angle, as in 45 from this being 0 degrees and completely upright being 90. So works the same with any tip. I'm going to be able to control it a little better with a chisel tip. I basically hold it upside down. And of course, the calligraphy pen. These little parts on the end of the letter, these little flares here, they're called serif. And there's types of fonts called sans serif, which deliberately do not have those flourishes, just a little more plain looking. All right, so the first thing we're going to want to do once we have this alphabet in front of us and something with some kind of serviceable flat edge to work with is to try the alphabet. So I'm going to start from the beginning of the alphabet. And make 1, 2. The B, 1, 2. C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay, so you can practice that alphabet as many times as you want. Try to get familiar with it. Practice makes perfect. There's no substitute for working with the pen in your hand, getting used to the feel of it, and going from there. So one project idea to do with this is to pick yourself out a quotation that you want to try to write in the calligraphy alphabet. So just to take any example, we'll look here on the internet. Let's just go to Google. And we're already at google.com. Let's look up Princess Bride quotes. The 48 best quotes from The Princess Bride. Death cannot stop true love. All it can do is delay it for a while. Inigo Ventura. How about this one? You keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. So it might be useful to write that down. So let's go ahead and do that. Keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. And we write down who said it. Indigo Montoya. All right, so now we're ready to begin. And you want to do this after only you've practiced with the alphabet for a while and you feel fairly confident you can write the letters about as well as you can. So starting off with a big piece of paper, we're going to line it. Okay, so this paper is 18 inches wide. So basically at school, I'm going to have rulers long enough to go across that expanse. But here at home, I just have this 15-inch ruler. So the easiest way to line a paper, line up that ruler with the top of the paper and use your pencil to make a real faint line. Then line up the ruler with that new line you just drew and make another one. And proceed on down the paper. And let's do one more. Okay. I realize these letters are barely visible, but so what we're going to do is there's a line here and then a line here. We're going to start on the second line, and we're going to start not with the first letter, but the second letter, U, which would be Y. My O is going to start right here. Now let's use our cone tip marker, see if we can do this. And I'm going to look at my letter reference as I go. Be prepared to have to do this more than once, because you're going to need more practice in order to get the word spacing correct and looking consistent throughout. On my second line, the first letter can go pretty much all the way as far left as I want to justify the words. Now, because I know I'm going to have means what you think it means. I know I'm going to have room for inigo. So again, you may have to write this more than one time in order to get the line spacing correctly. Like this just happened to work out for me, but like if you crowded up the first line and you wrote too many words, like if I put word up here, I might have found that too crowded and I would have needed to move it down to the second row, but this is going to be good. I'm going to add in, if I can find a smaller flat tip of some kind. Go. Okay. Now that I've got my quote written out, I'm going to think about illuminating that first letter. Remember, I have this phantom Y that's missing here. And why is it missing? Because I'm going to illuminate it. So we're going to take a look at looking up what an illuminated letter is. So you know where I'm coming from here. Let's see. Back on our Internet Explorer, we're going to Google letter Y. These are illuminated letters. It's just a sort of a traditional way to decorate the first letter, dating back a long time, first letter of a manuscript. We're going to look for one here that's like pretty fancy, but not too complex. We don't want to make it so much more complex than the rest of the alphabet. Actually, maybe this one up here. Yeah. This one here. Okay. So if I got that up on an iPad, I could just lay my paper down on top of it and trace it. The same if you were able to print that letter out, you can rub the back of the printout with some pencil lead. And then trace it on here. Okay, so now I'm gonna decorate that. Okay, now the last thing we're going to add is some kind of a border here. So the word, you keep using that word. I do not think it means what you think it means. Indigo was referring to the word inconceivable. Vinzini kept saying it, inconceivable. So I'm actually going to make a border out of the word inconceivable. But I want it to be unlike the basic calligraphy alphabet. So maybe I'll do it in cursive. Again, a good way to do this is if you don't know cursive in particular, you could go back here to Google and you can just type in cursive inconceivable. And am I going to be able to find one? Yep, right here. And of course, there's Vincini. Inconceivable. So I've already got a guideline up here where my inconceivable can sit, and then I'm going to put another one down below. So just because this is about a half line width here, I'm going to draw that. And this time I'm going to break out any regular marker here will work fine. But since my red is in a warm color, I'll stick to cool colors for my inconceivable border. Here we go. It looks like about 3 times across will fit. So I'll do that again below, but in order to give it a little more visual variety, instead of doing the same purple, green, blue, I'll do the reverse. All right. Now, pretty much done my quotes. I'm just going to erase my pencil lines, and then I'm good to go. And you can do this with any kind of quote. You can do it with music, lyrics, and the border elements that you design around it, they don't have to be words. They could be pictures. Like if I had chosen a quote from a different character, the masked stranger, for example, I could have made a border out of masks. There it is. How to make a calligraphy quote with a decorative border.